Hello again, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to FTB Interactions. So, since last episode, it hasn't been a massive amount of time since the last episode. One thing I did do since last episode is all these metals are gone. Well, I do like that, but it was really just this little corner. I made up a bit more caches, and if we pop over to here, you can see that I've got our metals up here. Not all of our sorting stuff's going to go up here, but metals and gems, those things that we are using a lot of, are going to go right over here. So we got these started, and then I'm going to do another 2 layers up here, which we'll get those put in before too long. So right now all I have slotted is ingots. I don't have anything over in the dust area. This right here, this is pig iron. This is made in the blood altar, just iron ran through there. And I'm going to show you, you may have noticed in the thumbnail for last episode, I had done something to our blood magic altar. And basically all I did, this is just a very temporary thing, I've got it so it's pumping out into a steel drum. And so we have 64 buckets of life essence and then another 10 buckets in the altar plus, I don't know, however much the pressurized fluid conduit store. So that's there. This isn't running at the moment. It's just hanging out. But I did make a little bit of pig iron because we're going to be needing quite a bit of it this episode. Well, I say quite a bit. Probably not all that much this first episode. But and then also I made a chemical bath. Got this set up. And basically I've just been running wood pulp to make paper because it's a whole lot easier than doing the sugarcane method. Because, you know, I need a lot of paper. And now we're at the point where paper is a whole lot easier to make. We don't have to use books for sugarcane. We're using wood pulp. So, and then also, let's see, if we pop over to here, this chest actually has a couple of machines in it. I made 3 additional basic ore washing plants and 2 basic packagers. Okay, these are the key things we need to really speed this up because this is what's holding everything back right now is the basic ore washing plant. Ore washing plants, honestly, I'll probably want more than just 3, but for right now we're going to do 3. So, and then eventually, of course, we'll get distilled water going, so we may not need all that many. But I think, especially being on a server, I think the biggest thing right now is getting the packagers set up. Because that's usually where things get stopped up is because of this right here, which we're going to be doing that. This episode's probably going to span over the course of a period, because I'm probably going to cut here and there for a while. This right here, this is 2 centrifuges. They're both just set to auto output up to this chest. And basically what I've been doing is soybeans. You know, we talked about this and I figured I'd go ahead and set it up and get it running. Soybeans, if we process these through a centrifuge, we get silken tofu and grain baked. Silken tofu, we run it through again through a centrifuge and we get firm tofu and soy milk. Okay. And this firm tofu, I've got this right here. I got to thinking, technically we could automate the cellular blocks to some degree. I mean, I think we could probably pull off some sort of auto harvesting, but until we get auto harvesting, and honestly, it's not even worth worrying about right now because I got to looking. We're not going to be able to use any kind of block placer for right now. What we're going to be going for is the Ran and Carpus, I think, for a mana setup, which most of this isn't too bad. We just have to get into infusion, which is no biggie. It's minor instability. It's not, you know, it doesn't take much, but it does take Palace crystals. And these are going to require that we get up to, we have to get the blue crystal shards. These don't spawn in the world. We are going to have to get gallium and lapis dust or demon wheel crystals and lapis dust. Which of course we took a look at demon wheel crystals. They're earlier than normal, but they're still a little ways. We're going to have to get up to aluminum and stuff for like the phytogenic. Basically all the block placers take MV machine hulls, which is copper cables, and MV machine casings. And these are going to require, we're going to be getting into assemblers before long, but they are going to require that we get aluminum or aluminium, if you pronounce it that way. But so it is just a little ways off for us at the moment. And then out here, let me pop up. Of course, this is all very much work in progress. And very rough at the moment. Just kind of getting some ideas of layout and stuff. But there is a staircase that comes up. This actually comes up from outside of the, like if you walk through here, there'll be an exit that goes out to this area, and then there'll be stairs that come up. There's actually going to be a section here that comes up, so you're going to come in between two sections of this, and then it's going to come back in up here. And so we've kind of got another mirror image, but you'll notice that it is a little bit more shallow than the layer below it. So, and then I've started building some of this out. This isn't all just going to be nothing but lava, but just work in progress kind of thing. So planning things out. So, and then down here you may notice the Pure Daisy got moved and this floor got opened up. Okay, I spent a while testing and getting an idea of where I wanted to lay this out, getting some dimensions and all that stuff. So what I've got here, this is going to be where our dandelion setup is going to be. So that's what we're going to start into today. It keeps snowing in my area, and I don't love it. Can I, oh, it doesn't work. I think I can vein mine it with this, though. Yeah, I can vein mine it with the Madoc. Just want to get all this snow cleaned up, because we're going to put glass over this, and I really don't want snow down underneath my glass. So, but anyways, the way this is set up, I've got the dandelion here. Okay, I'm not going to go over the basics of the dandelion because you can read all about it in the Lexica Britannia, and you can get the Lexica Britannia in this pack with just a chisel, and it's the one with the full knowledge and everything. So you can just chisel that and read about the basics of it. Basically, it's Conroy's Game of Life. I think that's right? Conroy, I think. Like I said last episode, it is a game that makes no sense to me, and I think a lot of people are in the same boat. Because generally, with the dandelion for setups, there's like certain people that tend to just use an algorithm to find like the best possible method to it, and then most people just tend to copy it. I normally don't like copying things like builds and stuff or setups, but dandelion is one of the exceptions because it makes no sense to me whatsoever as to, you know, finding the best possible output or even close to the best possible output. Because if you've never seen this thing run, here in a minute, you'll see it run, and it's it makes no sense to me at all. So, anyways, what we've got here, the dandelion, it can have up to a 25 by 25 area, but you don't have to use all of that area. So basically, we are just using a 17 by 15 is what this is. In total space, the grass area. And then these little blocks here, they're going to get filled in. So once we get this thing up and running, we'll fill that in. But and automation, we will be automating this before too long. It's not going to be all that hard because really all we need to automate this is a random carpus setting right here. And there we go. It'll be automated. So, but anyways, so what I've got here, we have to set up a little bit more stuff. I didn't want to set up all of it on like off camera, but I went ahead and put myself down some reminders as to where we're going to be putting things. So right here, I've got the dandelion, and it's pushed up against this edge, basically. This is where the mana production is going to be. And then around it, the blocks all adjacent to it, you don't need that to be open. Basically, no cellular blocks or anything can come into this area. So you can do whatever. I could put, you know, living rock there if I wanted to. It's not going to hurt anything. If a block would move towards the middle, then it ends the game and you get your score, basically, which is your mana. But what I've done here is I've came out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then I've done this little T shape here with living rock. This is where we're going to be placing cellular blocks. And then from the point of this T, come over 2, and then living rock right here. 2 sets of living rock right here, and this is where the other 2 cellular blocks are going to go. That's all the cellular blocks that we're going to be placing at a given time. And then we're going to have certain blocks inside of this area that are basically there to block any cellular blocks from moving through that area. So I've got one here, and this is where I went ahead and put this one because this is where the random carpus is going to set. It's not going to sit there right now, but it will set there once we get it. And then if we come over 2 and then up 1, we're going to put a living rock block right there. And then we'll come up and do another living rock block right there. And then right in front of this, we're going to place a block. And then we're going to come over 4 and place a block. And you don't have to memorize what I'm doing because I'll include a link to a picture for this. So I will include that down in the description. So, and then from this one, we're going to come over and it's going to be, it's going to be right in the center of this. So we're going to place a block right there. And of course, it's going to start snowing. I need to get a roof on this thing so bad. And then I think, yeah, I think that's all the blocks that we need. What does it take to make a rain shield in this pack? Actually, I don't think that they work with, snow will still fall on it. Brass rod. Yeah, but if it still makes snow even through the rain shield, so that's not really gonna solve it right now. There is ways that we can solve it, but of course, one of those ways is just put a roof over this. But okay, so anyways, that's all of our barrier blocks. And then let's go ahead, let's grab ourselves some cellular blocks. I'll show you this thing in action. Okay, so let's grab as much as we can. These do craft 3 at a time, so the crafts actually go pretty far. We're only going to need 2 crafts per cycle, and each cycle makes a lot of mana. I don't know that this snow is going to mess things up. I'm not for sure. But let's go ahead and pull up our crystal torches, because we don't want these down, because I'm fairly certain that these will block the blocks. And I'm going to have to make some more glax, but I'm going to go ahead and place down what I've got. Like that. I'm going to leave these cellular blocks open. And we're going to see if this, I'm not sure. Like I said, I'm not sure if snow's going to affect it. So all we need to do, oh wait, I don't need to activate it just yet though. I need to actually set up the mana for this. Because we're going to need some mana before we can upgrade our diluted pool. One thing I do need to make is a wand of the forest, which is crystallized mineral. Oh, that's terrible. I don't know why they would do that. So it takes wisdom wood sticks, that's fine. And it takes a mystical petal, but then it takes crystallized mineral, and you can only do white petals. So you can never have any other colors or multicolor wands of the forest. That's terrible. I don't know. I don't know why this pack would do that. Okay, well, give me just a second. Let me, that's actually only going to take a second. Let's grab ourselves 3 sticks and the petal. We've gotten these before, right? There we go. There's our 3 wisdom wood. The crystallized mineral is not a problem. We are going to have to get a mystical white petal real quick. I think all I need is just low covalence dust. Oh, and our I need to take you up there to show you the astral gems and talk about that as well. I'll do that here in just a second. So, covalence dust. There we go. There's our mystical white petal. Let's go ahead and do that. And then let's set... I mean, really, this could set anywhere. I'm going to put it setting right here. So we're going to grab that connection and connect it there. Okay. And then our mana pool for this, I'm going to bring that up. And we'll put the diluted pool right there. Because I think these little pillars, I'm going to bring these up, and these are going to have like key things standing on them. Oh, the snow has ended. I may just put like a cobblestone roof over the top of this for the time being or something. Well, I mean, now I'm at the point where I can just do the glax, I guess. So, which I need to because mobs can spawn in here. I'm going to get that done here in just a second, like during a cut. Okay, so we should be good now. We'll make sure, I'm sure that's bound, but we'll go ahead and do that. So it's going to feed its mana into the diluted mana pool whenever it gets mana. So what we're going to do is we're going to activate this, and you have to leave the redstone running, okay? And you can see that it's starting to move around. Actually, did it mess up? No, it's still going right. Okay, so you can see it's just kind of like bouncing all over the place. The basic concept is every cycle it's going to do, every time it moves blocks, basically it's doing a cycle. And what's happening is every time it does a cycle, every block, I mean, like I said, it talks about it in the Lexica Britannia, it's about to end because it's going to touch that. Pow, there we go. So it's going to start running, and you could see, I mean, this diluted mana pool, it's going to fill up really, really quick. Diluted mana pool is not going to be able to take a bunch of this. But basically, every time it looks like it's moving, what's happening is certain cells are dying off and certain cells are being born. Because any cells that have, I think it's any cells that have a neighbor or 3 neighbors around them that are alive, then a new cell is born there or whatever. It talks about it in the Lexica Britannia, but it's very, very strange, and I've never understood how it's a game because you just place the blocks and they do everything else. I guess it's one of those like logic puzzle things, but I like logic puzzles, but it's like beyond me. So, anyways, our diluted mana pool is filled, the mana spreader is filled, and the dandelion still has a half mana. So it's a ton of mana. It's enough to fill probably 4 or 5 of these diluted mana pools. The diluted mana pools are nerfed, I think, in this pack, to where they don't hold quite as much, because normally they hold 100,000. They hold 1/10 of a normal mana pool, but I think it's less by a substantial amount. I believe it's 100 diluted mana pools per mana pool, but this setup, whenever it is automated and running, like just nonstop, it will fill a mana pool in about, I don't know, in my test world it was doing about 7 minutes, but I could have made it faster probably, so I don't know. But of course it's really easy to scale this if you need to as well. So, okay, so we've got a little bit of mana. So what we're going to do now, if we take a look, because I want an actual mana pool. I don't want the dinky diluted one. So we're going to need medium covalence dust, and we're going to need mana powder. 2 mana powder. So mana powder in this pack is Phyto Grow, Rich Phyto Grow, or Fluxed Phyto Grow. And you get different outputs depending. Phyto Grow is just wood pulp or sawdust. We're going to use wood pulp. Slag and saltpeter, or apatite dust, or you can use apatite dust and coagulated plant balls, but you just get 1. There's charcoal dust. That would probably be the best one. Charcoal dust, saltpeter, and apatite, and you get 16. That's not bad. Okay, no, we're going to go actually with a different method. I got to looking through there, and it seems like saltpeter we're not going to be able to easily get. I think we can make it if we go through and make niter with potassium and nitric acid and all that. It's a whole long line that we'd have to do. So I really don't think it's worth the output of us following that. And I'm not even 100% sure. I didn't go through the whole line, but I'm fairly certain that we might be able to pull that off. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to crush up a bunch of apatite. And let me get this stuff washing. I'm just going to put this stuff away for now. This is kind of in the stuff that I've got to process later. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab one of these. And the impure pile, then we can just centrifuge it. Yeah, let's do that. Let's make 1, because I just need 1 mana powder for the... Or no, I need 2 for the thing. So we'll just do that. That's enough to break my hammer. And then we'll just drop this stuff into the centrifuge. Which actually, the centrifuge is going to give us some more phosphor dust. So we're not really missing out on that much. Just doing 2 of these real quick. And of course, this is all going to get stopped within the chest. So you can see there's purified apatite. I'm actually going to go ahead and throw this into that so it can go ahead and get sent through and get processed. See, and I would have had some now. About the time I get done with that. Okay, so let's take this and I'm just going to set that right there. I don't want it feeding into this mana pool. So, oh wait, I need to make the Phyto Grow. That, and then I'm going to need plant balls. Now, technically, I don't see anything stopping us. We could technically make this even more efficient and make the... I'm not for sure about the fluxed Phyto Grow. That we need an energetic infuser, which we need to get up to MV. But technically, we could make the rich Phyto Grow, even though we don't have saltpeter, because the fluid transposer is not expensive at all. I'm not going to worry about it right now because it's basically just saving me appetite, and I mean, it's Greg Tech ores are basically infinite. One thing I'm not for sure about though is could we make a arboreal extractor? Yes, we could. Okay, so you could make the arboreal extractor and extract sap and then use the fluid transposer over your phytogrow to get a little bit better output that way if you want. But right now I'm not going to worry about that because it's just not important. Plus, it's not like I'm making a whole bunch of mana powder right now. Later on, we probably will do that, but right now I just need a little bit of mana powder. Let's go ahead and get some coagulated plant balls, and then these plus appetite gets us our phytogrow, and then our phytogrow, we can come over here and we can toss this into there. Okay, I'm gonna need a little bit more than that though. There we go. Okay, let's not waste any more because this mana pool is mine. I'm taking it. Okay, so now what we need to do, let's pull up the, oh, which actually, there's a quest. Okay, we completed. And that quest is done. The crystallized mineral is done. Beautiful. Beautiful stuff. Okay, so we're going to start on the mana steel. Now, technically, once again, you can technically make this with wrought iron. But you have to use nuggets in the mana pool because it takes so much more mana to make mana steel that way. We're going to be going with steel because why not? Later on, we can go with stainless steel, which the blast furnace, we can do it once we get chrome and nickel and manganese. Okay. Yeah, we'll switch to that before too terribly long, I think. I seem to remember making stainless around the same time as MV, I think. Of course, I'm not 100% sure about this pack. I'm just remembering it back from back on Infotech. So it was sometime around then. I remember making stainless, so but it's probably pretty close to that same time. Because I've noticed most of the Greg Tech recipes aren't really changed in this pack. And so whenever we would need stainless, we're probably going to be able to make it. And yeah, so I think it'll probably be around the same time as MV. Once we get up to like the blast furnace and stuff. Okay, so then I just need some medium covalence dust, which we've got that. And then we can go do this. And it just so happens it's nighttime, so that's great. All right, let's get our very first mana pool. Haha, it's crafting. Okay, so while that's crafting, assuming it's probably going to take a second. If we pop up here, oh, these aren't grown anymore. They kind of pop in and out of being grown. So that's why I went ahead and harvested some of those. But there we go. Quest completed. Mana pool. And let's see. Where is the quest for the mana pool? I don't see it. See the diluted pool. Oh, there it is. Mana pool. Haha. We've completed that. Oh, we do have some quests up here. One of those, I know what it is. Because it was whenever I was making packagers, I finished something. Which we'll take a look at that in just a second. But okay, so let's bind that to there. And now this can start pumping out all this mana in the dandelion. Right? Because it's still got a ton of mana. And realistically, we can go ahead and start this up again. Because by the time that it finishes, this will be empty on mana. So let's go ahead and pow, pow, pow. Oh, whoops. Don't do that. Make sure you shut off the redstone. It needs to keep the redstone signal on while it's running, but you need to shut it off whenever you want to place blocks back down. So I wasted a couple cell blocks, not a big deal. And then we'll go ahead and give this a redstone signal and let this run again. So there we go. And we have a decent amount of mana. It's not terrible. Okay, so then what we can do is let's grab a piece of steel. We'll grab 2 for now. I'm going to make a bunch more of this, but Let's go ahead and drop that in. Drop that in. Quest complete. Mana steel. And we get 8 wrought iron ingots. Awesome. Which we're not using wrought iron for that, but I'll hold on to it. Maybe we'll find a use for it. And these ingots are going to go over here. So, wrought iron, mana steel. And honestly, since we're at the point where we have lots of iron and we can make steel easily, wrought iron's not as useful. Wrought iron's kind of like a pre-steel like iron upgrade, basically. So, alright, that is done. It's going to fill up quite a bit. Like I said, each run of this dandelion is actually a lot of mana. It is a whole bunch of mana. So, okay, so we've got some mana production right now, and we've got a way to store up a decent amount of it. So I'm gonna leave that alone for now, because the main thing that we're gonna be making moving forward is just gonna be mana steel, maybe some mana powder. I'm not sure what we need to get the mana splitter. It's actually not bad. That's something that we might invest in. Well, it's not that important until we automate mana, I don't think. But once we automate mana, we'll definitely want a mana splitter. But anyways, this is working just fine. I do need to cover this over with Glax. I'll do that here in just a minute. But for right now, I want to check on our crystals. I actually have one of the crystals that we actually need, but I wanted to show you if these things would ever grow. They were grown, and then, you know, I started recording, and then they dropped back down, of course. But anyways, we'll see them later this episode, I'm sure. If we pop into here, let's, I put them over here. This right here, you can see those 3 that we grew last episode. I got a Fingarum gem, and then I got 2 Ilium gems from those 3. So, and this Fingarum gem, what we're going to do is we're going to put this into here, because we're going to make ourselves a blood orb. At long last. Hasn't been that long, really, but we're going to make ourselves a blood orb. While that's crafting, let me pop up here. Still not. Still not grown. They will, and they put off particle effects. It's very, very noticeable whenever they're grown, because they're like, they have like a colored gem on top. The Fingarum ones, they're a little bit harder to notice, I guess, because they're still like a white gem, but they do put off particle effects, so that's how you know. So, yay, there's our blood orb. And quest complete. And we get 8 blood apples. Okay. We will take those, and let's go ahead, and we're just going to take this, and we're just going to right-click to bind it. And we can actually put this on there, and it's going to start filling it. These are just basic blood magic mechanics, but we're going to go ahead and pull that off right now, because we don't need that. And what we're going to do, the Hellfire Forge, I think, takes, it takes mana steel plates to make that. Even though we don't necessarily need it right now, I guess. Not particularly. What I want to make is, I want to make slates. These require, we have to put them through a mixer. We're going to need arcane stone, life essence, and nocturnal powder. And nocturnal powder is just like this, and we get 4 per craft. Life essence, of course, we've got buckets and buckets of that. But let's go ahead and get ourselves some gold. We're going to turn it into gold nuggets. And let's pop over here. I'm going to have to go out hunting mana here pretty soon. I can already promise you that, because we've only got 6 buckets at the moment. 6 buckets of mana left. So what we're going to do is, let's find us a place. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to place down our stone drum. Let's bucket out all the mana that we've got at the moment. And then what we're going to do is we're going to drop gold nuggets into this. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And you could say that this is, oh, it didn't, Oh, just consume my... Okay, don't try to do multiples like that. Because if they're touching, it seems to consume them. We'll do like that. Yeah, it like randomly eats it. So just a forewarning. There we go. Okay, so we just completed a quest for the Nacra bucket. Does this stuff not flow? And we'll go ahead and just dump this into there. So we have 6 buckets now of Nacra. And then we'll just pop over here. Let's see, the arcane stone, the Nacra blocks. We're going to need 5 smooth stone and then gold nuggets. Okay, so let's pop down here. We'll go ahead and set this right there for right now. And we'll go ahead and start grabbing all of this Nacra. There we go. So I'm gonna have to go out and get a lot of mana. So I might even make a better tank. We'll see. But anyways, let's get ourselves. Let's just get a bunch of stone for right now. We'll go ahead and place this out. Place our stone. And what tool did we need for this? The hammer. So we'll go ahead and do that. Pow, quest complete. And what kind of rewards are we getting? 16 gold nuggets and a meringue cookie. Awesome. And then this quest over here, this is for making the basic chemical bath. And we get 2 blaze powder from that. Figure we should go ahead and turn these in real quick. And then the other quest here, this is the big one. This is the really, really big one. So I had to make robot arms to do the packagers. So we completed this quest. So we get 64 1x copper wire, 32 magnetic iron rods, 64 tin wire, 32 rubber bars, 8 tin rotors, and 8 paper rings from that. Which that quest is like a big yay, is what it is. So that one I was very, very excited to finish because it's a lot of rewards for us. Let's go ahead and grab ourselves some, we'll go with Perdito crystals. And this is just in a normal crafting table, yes. Okay, so we're going to do that. Any kind of crystal will work. And we're going to get ourselves some arcane stone. And quest complete. Arcane stone. And we get 16 arcane stone from that. Awesome. I will take it. Okay, so that's done. Now we need the nocturnal powder. So a bunch of coal. Okay, so there's nocturnal powder. We're going to have to craft these one at a time. No biggie. So there is 20 of them. Okay. So now we can make our very first slates. And this was made in the mixer, correct? Yes, it's made in the mixer. Okay, so I've got enough for 20 of these then. Which is not a bad amount. What I'm going to do, since this is on the same power network, I'm going to pull this out for just a minute. And, or actually, let me grab our portable tank. This thing holds 20 buckets, so it's actually just perfect. Plus, it'll actually work with filling the fluid into a machine. This would be a whole lot better to use. It's funny, though, because it doesn't render correctly. So it's showing like a full-sized portable tank, I think, because 20 buckets only fills it up that much. So let's go ahead and grab that. And we're going to add this into the mixer right there. Okay, so that's going to start running. It's going to start making our slates for us. So happy day. We're about to have our first blood magic slates. And there's our first one. And quest complete. Blank slates. We are really knocking through a lot of these quests. But, I mean, a lot of what's left to take a little bit longer. But illumination powder. Okay, well anyways, we get 8 blank slates and we get a mob soup from that quest. And did these things ever decide to grow again? Yes, they did. Okay, let's pop over here. You could see that we have this one, which that one, of course, drops an ilium gem. This one drops an orium gem. And then this one drops our fingering gem. So we actually kind of lucked out. We got one of each from that haul. And this one we used to make mana pylon. So we're going to need at least one more of those before too long. Alright, I'm just going to dump it into there. And how is our slates coming along? We've got 7 more, so there's 16. And what I want to make, what we've been working up to this whole time, I want to make nodes. Of course, we've already got a master routing node, but I would like to make these right here, which we are going to need reinforced slates for this, but we can dump these into a tier 2 blood altar. But to get the tier 2 blood altar, and this is where we needed the blood orb, and why I started doing those crystals, to get that, we're going to need to make ourselves some blank runes. Now, these are standard craft, but of course, blank slates are a little bit more expensive. So we've actually got enough to make what we need, because we only need 8 of these. Of course, we could, before too long, we have to get into this stuff, but technically we could make speed runes before long, but if you recall, like sacrifice runes are a bit more expensive, because we're going to have to get up to black steel, imbued slates, and vengeful wheel, which is no biggie. But for right now, we're going to be just using just standard run-of-the-mill blank slates. Let me just grab a stack of that, and we're going to go like that, that, and there is our 8 blank runes. Is there not a quest for that? No, the next quest is for a reinforced slate, and we get 4 reinforced slates from that. Okay, so let's pop back up here. And for right now, I know this floor is kind of a mess. At least the the Botania area is starting to kind of come together. The whole floor will come together, and just takes a little bit. All right, let's drop that there. And there we go. We now have a tier 2 blood altar. And let's see. What do we need to make the second tier of orb? I have redstone, so that's actually pretty cheap. We'll probably end up making one of those before too long. I am going to stop this from extracting for a minute. I must say active with signal, so that it can actually fill this up. And because there's quite a bit of blood in there, and plus I'm actually not even making blood at the moment. Let's go ahead and grab our slates, and I can go ahead and throw this back in there and get that running again. And there we go. There's our very first reinforced slate. Which actually I think that's plenty for right now. With what they give us from the quest, I don't think I need any more right this second. Yeah. Okay, so we get 4 from the quest. And now if we take a look at our nodes, we're going to need glowing glass. We're going to need red alloy plates, and this makes 4 per craft. And then we're going to need a bunch of pig iron plates. And each of these outputs and inputs require pig iron plates as well. And of course, like I said, pig iron is nothing more than... let me actually stop this for right now. But like I said, pig iron is nothing more than iron ran through that blood altar. So of course, I've got some right here. I've got 15 made up. But we can throw this in there. You'll notice they actually don't take very long to craft. They're fairly fast to get made. So, and we'll go ahead and throw those in the bending machine. And the node router is crafted just like this. It's actually fairly cheap. Wisdom wood, lapis. Awesome. Okay, it's been a little while since I last cut. It's been a little while. And I have prepped up some things. I'm actually in the nether right now because I wanted to show you. I took the scanner out because I wasn't seeing any ores like above ground. There's no flowers, so it seems like it's best if we just scan. And I found some tantalite, which I'm not worried about tantalite right now, but I found bauxite. That's what I'm actually after, is bauxite. And I'm going to mine up a bit of this stuff. Because I need a little bit of bauxite. I actually don't need that much of it, though. I'm probably not going to mine up a whole lot of it right this second. But I did have to change some plans. So we'll get into that here in just a second. But anyways, we get, for that quest, we get 11 bauxite ore. So let's just warp on home. I gotta sort through all this stuff this weekend, so I'm just gonna dump it right in there. So if we pop upstairs, yeah, let's pop upstairs first. I have been quite busy. Quite busy. Not so much up here, but I'll show you. I did run some new materials, so I ran some green sapphire through this. There's a couple different ways. We'll get into how we process green sapphire later. Right now I'm just running it through our general macerator, ore washing plant, forge hammer, centrifuge. Whenever it goes through the ore washing plant, you have a chance to get aluminum dust. So we did get a little bit of that. And see, the thing is, I got to looking, and we're going to need to get into aluminum, because one key thing that I want, of course, getting into aluminum, it's going to help because we can get the random carpus and stuff and automate the mana side of stuff here soon. But I was wanting to work on the ore processing area, which, by the way, well, let's go ahead and grab that aluminum dust. I also got some zinc, and I got some graphite ran through. So just a heads up on those, but those are all just common materials. It's no biggie. Let me grab like 5 glowstone, and let me grab like 5 thickened glass. Oh wait, it's 6. I think it's 2 glass per glowstone, right? Yeah. Okay. I'll just dump that into there, because right now it's nighttime. It's not going to be nighttime much longer, but let's go ahead and get our very first... Let's go ahead and get our very first routing nodes. We're not going to upgrade these today. Originally, I was planning on getting into the input and output nodes and stuff, but there's something even more pressing that we need to get. And to get this, it is going to require aluminum. But... there we go. Wow, they're super cheap on Starlight. So there's 20 routing nodes. So yay. And then we can make lots of inputs and outputs. Of course, you don't ever really use routing nodes because they can already cover such a great distance that it's not really necessary usually. But basically what I want to make is I want to make a robotic arm. And I was going to make the LV, but then I tested it just to make sure because I couldn't remember what the specified rate was on it. And the robot arm, the LV one, is limited to 8 at a time, which messes up my plans because I need 9 at a time. And so we're going to have to push on to the MV robot arms, which means we're basically going to have to start getting into MV. But that also means that we can go ahead and, whenever we're ready, turn our attention to the random carpus, get that for the mana setup, and as well as a couple other things, and just fully automate that. Because MV is kind of when it opens up a lot of automation stuff. And really, it's not totally bad that we go ahead and open up MV. That's not to say that everything that we do is going to be MV, because if you make... Generally, I think if you make every single machine at every single tier, you're just going to end up wasting a lot of materials, because there's not a big enough speed difference from LV to MV to warrant us really... I like the ore processing system. I'm probably going to leave that as LV for now. And then we'll upgrade the machines later down the line, but... I'm not going to remake everything every time that we hit a new tier because it's just not worth that. But anyways, the main thing that we need here is aluminum. And to get aluminum, it is not really a bad process. It's not even an expensive process, in truth. Basically, we have to get a electric blast furnace. And these are actually super cheap. All you have to make per blast furnace, like I made... There's Invar here, and I made, there's 53 left over, and I did 64 iron and a half stack of nickel for Invar. So, I mean, it's like, what, about a half stack of Invar? It's not actually all that much. You make about a half stack of Invar, and you make 1 stack... No, I'm sorry, 2 stacks. 2 stacks of copper nickel, which copper nickel is copper and nickel. So it's pretty straightforward, I think. Just copper and nickel, and you get 2. And Invar, of course, being 2 iron and 1 nickel. And I went ahead and got that stuff started up. And And you can see I've got 2 times copper nickel wires. All this stuff is actually really, really cheap and really, really self-explanatory. So we're going to need 16 of these. So we'll go ahead and grab those. We are also going to need the heat-proof blocks, which is these right here. These require Invar frames, which we looked at frames before, and then it's Invar plates. Okay, so the frames, I've actually got these laid out right here. And if we just put a wrench in there, we can get our Invar frames. So there's 8 of those. And then right up here, I've got this laid out to make our heatproof blocks. These are actually really, really cheap. And I went ahead and did 5 crafts of these. So there we go. There's that. And that's most everything. Oh, there's actually a couple things I didn't lay out that I just thought of, which is my hatches. But I'll get those here in just a second. Okay, so this right here, this is for the basic electric furnace. We'll go ahead and grab that. And what we're going to do, the heat-proof machine casing and the electric blast furnace, or basic electric furnace, goes in to make the electric blast furnace. All this being very self-explanatory. This is graphite, it's not steel. That's why I need to make graphite. Graphite comes as an ore, so I think that's pretty self-explanatory how to do that. So we'll go ahead and grab that. And we got task completed, the electric blast furnace. And then for the quest, they want us to get 2 energy input hatches. And we get 16 copper nickel. Okay, but for our blast furnace, let's go ahead. We're going to start setting this up. Just get the basics of it set down, We're going to have, this is a 3x3 structure. If we take a look here, you can see this is the shape. And the inside is hollow where the copper nickel is. So like right there is hollow. And this machine we will upgrade as time goes on. So, and we will need a lot of these. Like the quest description says, we will need a lot of these. So, but anyways, we're going to need an input hatch for fluid. We're going to need a, well, actually, no, we don't even need the input hatch for fluid. Sorry, we need the input hatch for items. We need the output hatch for items. We're not going to worry about a fluid hatch at the moment because we actually don't need it. And then we're going to need energy input hatches. We're going to make 2 of the LV hatches. So we need item in, item out, and 2 LV hatches. So I'm going to get those made here in just a second. But let me just go ahead and free up some inventory space. So we're going to do that. And then we are going to do heat proof, heat proof, heat proof, heat proof, like that. Then we'll have items come in and out on these sides. Energy on this back side, which we'll get that. The copper nickel, we're going to go ahead and just run this up like this. This way I can get all these items out of my my inventory. And we'll be making a lot of these. So any extra materials that you make, it's not a problem because you will need them, I promise. You'll make a lot of these things. Okay, so there we go. Awesome. That is in place. And it's just going to go in our big pile of machines, which all of this, pretty much all of this, like even all of our Steam setup is about to get moved as soon as we get this stuff started into, because we're going to be revamping the ore processing system entirely. So, oh, and by the way, the reason for the bauxite and what I need it for, we're going to make one thing that we're going to need here in a minute. I don't know if we'll use it this episode. And actually, no, the bauxite, I don't need the dust. I need the blocks. So we're going to add this. We're going to take our nether bauxite, throw it in the macerator, and get that running. All right, and with our bauxite, we're going to be using the blocks for this. That's what I actually need right this second, but not for very much longer, honestly. Yeah, let's just take all of this. That, and yeah, we'll take that too. Okay, we got 27 bauxite. It has so much output that it actually doesn't take very long to get a bunch of it. Okay, and what we're going to do with our bauxite, we're going to skip the ore washer for this. We're going to put it into the forge hammer. It gets hammered down, then it goes into the centrifuge. And what we're going to be making is gallium. Okay. There we go. 3 piles of gallium. And that is what I'm after. Let's see, if we get 39 of it and move it to the MV electrolyzer, we can get aluminum, but we'll have easier ways to make aluminum. But I want this gallium. You know, we talked about gallium earlier, that we were going to need some of it But I actually need just a very, very minute amount. Oh, quest complete. Fake electrical engineering. There we go. It says there's a reward here, but it's not showing it. So it's vanadium gallium dust. Okay. We shall take it. Alright, but what I actually need this stuff for, let's pop down here. There's a couple of things that we're going to craft out real quick. I want to make a diode, or 4 diodes. It's just fine tin wire, which is just tin cable ran through the wire mill, glass panes, black dye, and a little bit of gallium to get the diodes. They're really, really cheap. And I think we can make them cheaper once we hit the assembler, which we're going to start into assembler soon. But there you get 16. But it's a little ways ahead. But we'll get into that soon enough. Okay, so our diode, we're going to put this into here. And this is going to make our very first good electronic circuit. So, there we go. Technically, that would complete a quest, but I haven't made the basic electronic circuit. There is easier ways to make all this stuff. Once again, it's the assembler. For example, the good electronic circuit, we can make this in here. But for this, we're going to need basic electronic circuits to do that. So, molten tin, we'll get into that soon. We're going to be automating circuits here soon. We're going to move into that before too long. But anyways, I needed one of these for something that we're going to be making here in just a minute. Also, I needed some more steam turbines. So there is 4 steam turbines. Go ahead and grab those. Okay, now I need the input-output item hatches and the input energy hatches. So I will be back here in just a minute once I get those crafted out, and we'll get back to it. Okay, I got our 2 LV energy input hatches done, our output and input LV hatches done, and then I also got the stuff laid out for a basic electrolyzer. Let's go ahead and grab that. And we got a quest complete. We actually have 2 completes. The blast furnace, since we got these done, we get 16 copper nickel ingots, and then the electrolyzer, we get, I don't know, it doesn't say. So let's claim it. 4 LV electric motors from that. Okay, so let's pop upstairs. Let's go ahead and we're going to set up our electrolyzer like right here. And the purpose of the electrolyzer is, you know, I've got this aluminum dust. That's great. But that's not enough aluminum dust for what I need. So this green sapphire dust, and I might actually have to run some more of this. But for every 5, we get 2 aluminum dust and some oxygen. Actually, I think that'll be enough for what we need right now. So let's go ahead and grab that. And we're going to toss that into there. That's going to start running. There is other ways to make this, and we will get into some other ways. Like once we get up to the MV stuff, which I may actually need to pull that out. I think it's so far from the power, because this takes 30, I think it's 30 EU per tick, yeah, so there's 2 aluminum right there, and you can see we're not getting any kind of like oxygen output, or actually, yeah, it's in this slot, I forgot. Okay, so that's finished. It made 2, and if you click right here, you can see there's our oxygen. So I'm not going to worry about the oxygen right this second. Let's go ahead and pull this up, and can I move this a little bit closer maybe? Say it right here. But once we get into the MV stuff, we can make aluminum. There's a few different electrolyzer methods. What we're probably going to be going with, since we're about to hit MV, once we get some MV power set up, we're going to be going with this right here, clay dust, because you get sodium, lithium, aluminum, and silicon for 13 clay dust, which is really, really cheap. And then you get some water too, which we'll void that out. But for right now, I'm going to go with the green sapphire, because it only takes 30. And there's only a few things that only take 30, like sapphire takes 30. I think it's mainly the gems, some of the gems that take 30. But green sapphire is what we have the most of. Actually, yeah, I think it's just green sapphire or sapphire. So, okay, so we'll let that run for a bit and build us up some more aluminum. And then what we're going to do, let's take our output bus. We're going to put this right here. Our input bus right there. Then we've got our LV energy hatches. We're going to put these there and there. And our multi-block is formed. And then our basic steam turbines, we're going to set these up. Let's see, I think that should be pumping out into this. We're going to put these on the corner for now. Because the blast furnace, if you take a look at running aluminum, to run this through the blast furnace, we need 120 EU per tick. Okay, which is quite a bit. So we are going to use the LV for now. And then once we get up to MV power, we can change this over. So there's our steam turbines. And then I need to pump steam into this. So let me grab... Okay, I'm going to need some more advanced mechanical pipes, for sure. We're going to be making up a bunch of these soon, because we're going to be moving steam, like, all over the place. Whoops, I forgot to... it's a logistical transporter, and there's no way to change it over. Okay, that's fine. It still moves items, and we will be using that, but that's not what I intended to make. I forgot to change it over there. I'm out of plastic sheets, but I've got some more right there. Go ahead and grab these. Next episode, we will be working on the ore processing system, I promise. That was my intention this episode, but then it was like, oh yeah, I forgot something. I forgot something very, very important. So, we have to take a step back for just a moment, but then we'll get back to that. There we go. Basic mechanical and advanced mechanical. And my configurator, is it down here? I think it is. And I'll be sorting all this stuff during the weekend. So that's my plan for this weekend. I just didn't have a whole lot of time last weekend. So okay, so we are going to put that there. And then this, we're just going to run up along like that. I'm one short. Okay, 1 second. I'm going to make some more. Okay, which I'm actually out of iron rods, so I can't make the pipe steel. Let me pop over here. Let me go get some iron. By the way, I should show you this. Look how much iron we've got. We've got 2,049. What's this for? Apparently getting an iron ingot was important for something. But we've been running so much iron, and it's about to get even better, because I've actually still got a lot of ore lying around. And as soon as we get our real ore processing automation up and going, it's about to get way better. way, way better. We will start moving into MV machines soon. The ore processing system, I plan to leave that as LV for the time being, at least most of it. There will be some additions that are MV, but for the most part, I'm going to leave it as LV because it's not going to hurt anything. If we upgrade anything, it would probably be like the ore washing plant or something. So, but anyways, there's that. There's just not a whole lot of point in every tier got to upgrade every machine because it's just not needed, you know. So we'll go ahead and plug that up. Pow. And now if we take a look, these have built up on power. That's good. And now what we can do, I actually don't need the configurator. This aluminum, if we take a look here, blast furnace, it's 1-to-1. It takes about 44.2 seconds. Okay. And you can see max temperature is 1800. Right now it's idling. Let's go ahead and throw in our aluminum. And this is going to start running. And you can see it's running perfectly. Progress is building up. All right. All right. So now let's grab, in here we've got 10 more aluminum dust. Let's go ahead and grab that. And we'll just throw this into here. And I might actually, let's see. Let's grab ourselves some more green sapphire stuff. And let's throw this right into there. And these filters are like, I'm starting to have to remove things to run things because I had to add like graphite and green sapphire and starting to run out of slots there. Okay, but there's our very first aluminum ingot. Let's grab that. And task completed, aluminum ingot. And that is under right here. And we're actually going to go ahead and push on to where we unlock the MV age. The machine hall takes copper cables. Oh, but we need to get the assembler up and going before we do that. So I actually might wait on that. We might unlock that next episode. Then we'll get an assembler set up, and what we're going to be doing next episode, we will get an assembler, and then we're going to be working on the ore processing system. We're going to get our MV robotic arms, and actually just one MV robotic arm. Well, no, two. Yeah, ideally I need two. So I will have to make some more aluminum because they are a little bit expensive on aluminum, but not that bad, really. Yeah, but yeah. So we'll get into that next episode. I know it's about wrapping up point for this episode, but yeah, next episode we will unlock MV. I don't know if we'll make much in the way of actual MV machines next episode. We might, but we'll see where it goes. But I definitely want to just redo the whole ore processing system, which does mean a lot of this stuff's going to get moved around. The episode's going to span a while. We'll probably cut here and there while I'm doing stuff, but it's about time that LV is kind of like our basic machines, but MV is when we can start really settling down and doing a bit, because that's when we kind of get all of our automation stuff unlocked, or a lot of our like main automation, like block placers and things like that, are going to be really, really useful for us. So. And actually, MV, I guess, is about the time you start heading to space before long and going to the moon. But there's some preparations that we need to do before we do that. So, but anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already to stay updated with when new videos come out. And I hope to see you guys next time. So until then, as always, do take care, stay safe. I'll see you guys then.